Welcome to MRANTI Tidbits.
Hi,
Thank
thank
you for
you.
being with us today, YB. In fact, I think this is the first time that we have a very, very special guest, and this is our first episode ever. And we're really honored to have the minister himself with us today. Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Zorara. Thank you, Moranti.
And-
thank you, the team, for preparing this.
So, YB, today I get to play Oprah.
Yeah,
Right.
please.
So I'll be sort of having this conversation with you. I think we'll talk about everything and anything.
Yeah.
I think there are many out there who are curious about who YB Chang is. What does he do, and what does he stand for? Yeah, and you have been the Minister of Science, Technology, and Innovation for 6 months now. Is that right?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So
Slightly more than 6 months.
slightly more than 6 months. Okay, YB, to kickstart, maybe this is just maybe to add more flavor to our conversation. Also, something I've been very curious about. What nudged you into politics?
Well, I was born in a very typical middle class family, and we couldn't care less about politics initially. Yeah. So when I was in primary school, secondary school, I mean I read papers, but just normal. I mean I didn't even concern about politics so much. Then after I joined universities, when I was in the campus, and yeah, I got some exposures, and then from there I started paying attention to politics and what was happening in the country. So I started then, and then I was active in student activism, in campus election, etc. So from there, slowly I become political. Yeah. In the campus,
Yeah.
I work very closely with other student organizations, and of course from there we can see how multiracial student movement can work. So from there, I mean the seeds of multiracial multiracial lah,
Yeah.
the beauty of multiracial I saw from there, and then so sort of an ideology started from there lah.
Okay.
So therefore after that I've chosen my party, and then I started from there and become Adun, and then MP, and then now a minister.
Congratulations, YB. It's been quite a journey for you. I guess the other question I have is, politics is seen as a pathway to create change. What kind of change do you want to see as a politician?
Well, to me, of course, there are a lot of things that I think we should improve, but the long and the short of it is, I think as a government we need to be people centric. So whatever policy we are talking about, whatever technology we are talking about, we need to be people centric, so that people can feel the so-called improvement you have made to the country. So no matter you are in which party, no matter whatever your ideology is, but I think people centric is the most important thing that I would like to bring to the country.
Oh, that's very interesting. In fact, that leads me to my next question around technology and innovation, right? What we're going to speak about today. Now, tech and innovation is always seen as something inaccessible, not reachable by the masses. And you talked about, people-centric policies. How do you see championing that within MOSTI right now in your position as the Minister of Science?
Yeah, in fact, in government system, we always like abbreviation, all the acronyms, right? So I have invented this acronym, and I call it PRECISE.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, so the P, precise, the P is people centric.
Nice.
So what I want to do with science, technology, and innovation, I hope science and technology and innovation can help us solve our problems that people are facing. climate change, poverty, food security, and whatnot. So I wish that the people-centric part, we can help to solve, or mitigate some of these issues by using technology. So that is one. And of course, other area of concern is R&D. We hope we can do. When people-centric, we hope we have technology adoption in improving our life. Not necessarily cutting edge technology, but it could help us to improve our daily life. That is people centric. But R&D, I think we need to go to cutting edge technology. We need to start exploring and also building up our capacity in those areas. For instance, hydrogen, human vaccine, and of course, like genome sequencing, etc. So that is R. And then E is enculturism, enculturation.
Yep.
That is how to uh, how to promote science, technology, and how one very important aspect is STEM education. So and of course we do that is more on formal education, but we also do a lot of informal one, like we have Minggu Science Negara, we have Tech Limpik, and whatnot. So those are the areas that I would like to focus on. And then also, what is that? Precise or C.
C.
C is capacity building.
Nice.
Because a lot of people are a lot of debate is ongoing. Some says technology is taking away our job, humans job. In fact, I don't see it that way, because I think technology is helping us to cut down or to reduce those labor intensive job. But at the same time, we are also creating more jobs. But those new jobs, maybe they need new skill set. Therefore, we need to have a capacity building. So we need to have courses like need to train like AI. Well, not necessarily expert, but people who knows AI, people who can do coding, people who knows how to operate a system, IoT system, etc. So I think that is capacity building. Then of course the other one is investment, technology related investment. But this is quite straightforward lah. Basically, we would love to attract technology driven or technology intensive investment into Malaysia. So and then the other SE is startup ecosystem. So of course, MRANTI has been doing very well in this, and of course our other agencies also. We are trying to help startup, and also we are trying to build a conducive ecosystem for startup. So these are the areas that I would love to focus in.
I love it. Precise.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Do you have a timeline to this, or is this something that you intend to carry through the ministry?
Well, of course, I would like to carry through at least my tenure
Sure.
as a minister.
Sure.
But like R&D is something long term, or at least mid term.
Okay.
So I would love to see continuity in this area R&D. Other than that, I would like to see it happen within my tenure.
Love it. You're an engineer yourself.
Yes.
Right?
I was.
You you want to tell us a little bit about your engineering journey? Because, at the end of the day, I think you talked about solving challenges for the country through science, technology, and the engineers, innovators, inventors are the ones that are capable of creating solutions that would address these challenges. And you came by that path of engineering. So maybe tell us a bit about what led you to it.
Okay. I think first of all, I would like to congratulate Rakyat Malaysia for not having a lousy engineer in practice. But engineering, I think engineering gives me some advantage. I would say, not like very much, but at least give me some advantage. At least it is a science stream, and uh, and it helps me to understand better
Of
how
course.
science works. You see, when I was first appointed, um, I spent quite some time to understand everything that is happening in the ministry lah. And I think my science background helps. And I also I think engineering helped me in terms of problem solving,
Of
because
course.
engineers engineers
You're wired
not
that way.
yeah, we are wired that way, and then of course not very innovative, but we are good at solving problems. So I
Fantastic.
think it helped me throughout my journey lah.
Who's your favorite tech icon? I think we can do global, Malaysia or global, tak kisah. But who's your favorite innovator or like a tech icon do you have that you have in mind?
Well, I tech icon I do not have, but maybe inventor I
Yeah?
have.
Yeah.
Thomas Edison.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I think people from that era, then he can come up with something like that.
Yeah.
And of course, he has invented a lot of things. But I think that is someone whom I admire until today.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Nice. Now, as minister, what are some of the things that have truly inspired you?
Okay, I would say, although quite a short period of time, but I would say talents.
Yeah.
And those, the talents that I have seen so far in the ministry, I really uh, I admire them, and really appreciate, and it really inspired me, because I didn't know about their existence. You see, before I was appointed, and I always think the technology wise, other country must be more advanced than us. But when I look at what is happening in the country, and when I spoke to the scientists, I spoke to the all the professors, academics. Well, I think they are good in their areas, and not only that, not only scientists and academics, but also innovators. We have seen a lot of good innovation
Mhm.
in our Minggu Science Negara, and and even like Innovaton. No? We are doing one
Yes.
TV reality
Correct.
TV show,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
The Innovaton. I really I feel very um, uh, surprised, I would say, not shocked, but surprised. We are doing so well. I mean, a lot of things are happening within the system. There are good innovators in, you see, for instance, JKM, in Bomba, in the Air Force, um, and also JPAM. So I think we have a lot of good talents, and our job, our responsibility is to find them, and then we groom them.
Wonderful. But YB, on this particular topic, and it's widely discussed even in government, private sector, Malaysia, we face the tech brain drain.
Yep.
Um, and this is not something that's just faced by the MOSTI ministry. I think it's government wide. What do you think we can do collectively to stop this tech brain drain?
I think, of course, people think the main factor is salary,
Right.
but I do not think so. Maybe salary is part of the factor, part of the factors, but it's not solely because of salary. I think it's the ecosystem,
Mm.
and also people do not see prospect.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you see, I take tech for instance. You see, um, when you are trained in certain area, technology, but people only see like, okay, we can only go to A, B, or C
Mm.
company,
Mm.
because there are only that
Mm.
many in the market.
Yeah.
So if I were to go to other countries, maybe I have better prospect, or I have more choices. So this is something that we need to work on. I say, for instance, if we have tech graduates, graduates who are good, high skilled lah, high skilled graduates. Not much choice they have in Malaysia because the technology adoption is quite low at the moment in the industry. Well, I don't blame anyone, but I think before this we are only looking at FDI, and we are only looking at amount. We didn't really look into what kind of industry they are that came to Malaysia. So so eventually, not eventually, but then it ended up like too many labor intensive industry in the country, and then the technology adoption level is also low. So there is no demand for a high skilled worker. So we always say we have manpower shortage, but the manpower shortage is mainly labor intensive jobs. So I think we should change this, and it will take time, of course, but we need to start somewhere. You see, we need of course, we need to get more technology driven industry to come into Malaysia, so that the demand for high skilled workers will surge. Then secondly, I think we also need to accelerate the technology adoption in conventional or traditional industries. For example, agriculture. So agriculture used to be very labor intensive, and then quite I would say very traditional industry. But in fact, we can adopt technology to reduce our reliance on say foreign worker for labor intensive job. At the same time, we can also we can also increase the demand for high skilled worker. Because when we do say we put sensor IoT in the farm, we can reduce manpower, but we also need someone to take care of the system. We also need someone to maintain the system. So by doing this, by adopting technology in traditional areas, traditional industry, yeah, we can hit two birds with one stone. On one hand, we can reduce the reliance on manpower. On the other hand, we have to increase the demand for high skilled workers. So we need to do that. We need to do that. But of course, it takes time, because it not only government. You can't rely solely on the government, but also a private sector have to play a role.
Oh, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And I love the way you put everything into context, and it's clearly a long-term effort, and it's not just the government's job. So again, we've got many initiatives, and you've also been a big proponent of working with private sector, YB. Now, private sector aside, you also spoke about technology adoption. Today is a very important day because we also launched my STI. Maybe YB wants to speak a little bit more about MOSTI's effort to promote technology adoption within the government first, and then hopefully private sector will then take on.
Maybe I give some background.
Sure.
Because after I become minister, then I have town hall, then I have talks with startups, technology related. So a lot of them, they are complaining about not so much about not getting grant, but they are complaining about the adoption of homegrown technology within the government. So they always say, well, we can't get a single opportunity in the government procurement because they always go for MNCs, those big boys in the market. So small startup, and then they don't have economic skill. Of course, I mean, they say our price won't be competitive. That is for sure. But I think government needs to do something to help our homegrown technology, because a lot of them, they couldn't get any opportunity in the government procurement system. Then they have to go to other countries.
That's right.
So some of these startup, they flourish in other country. Then only they come back So I think it's a waste of time and also waste of talent.
You call it the boomerang.
Yeah, boomerang. Yeah, boomerang. And it is quite sad. In fact, quite sad because some of them, when they go overseas, then they will stay there. And then that is the brain drain. So we are trying very hard to, I wouldn't say solve, but mitigate the problem to close gap. So one of the initiative is what we launched today,
Yep.
My STI. My STI basically is an initiative that help our homegrown technology, our startups to be in the government system, in the government procurement system, to be given priority whenever there's a government procurement. So how it works, of course, this is also with the existence of MRANTI and also other agencies like MTDC, etc. So you just register with us. We'll do some kind of due diligence. Then we'll give you a logo. That's a My STI logo. With that logo, we'll put all the companies into an inventories. Then with that logo, you will be given priority in government procurement. So far we are doing pilot project. I mean, we just launched today. We are doing pilot with 10 ministries, and we hope we in 2 years time. This project is a 2-year project. So in 2 years time, we hope we can register like 477 products or company into that inventory, and we hope at least 50 of them can be taken up by the government agencies or ministries. Yeah.
Interesting. YB, this leads me to my next question, because you also did mention that you've been speaking to our startup ecosystem, the tech community, you've been speaking to researchers. Now, in your short time here, what do you think is sort of the standout issue in terms of going to market? Or what are the gaps that are in the commercialization journey for our startups or our entrepreneurs, based on your observation right now?
I think you know better, Maranti, you know better. But my own observation, well, I think well, one thing is access to market,
Sure.
of course. Therefore, we have this initiative of My STI. But also, I think visibility is also very low, especially, well, science community or tech community, we know the existence of some startups. But if you talk to people on the street, I think most of them, they don't know. Even if you go to, even if you go to schools, you ask them who is the best scientist in Malaysia, they might not know. So I think we need to explore how to increase visibility of this industry. So well, now we have initiative of Innovaton.
Yes.
We want to mainstream innovation, and we like people to see what innovation is about, because people tend to think that innovation is something very big, very complicated. You need to go to university, become a professor, only you can innovate, which is not true, you see. So well, these are the initiatives that we are doing to close gap lah. And of course, funding is also an issue, and some of our policies, like well, we need to do some policy facilitation. For instance, some of our startup, when they need to employ foreign talent, then we have visa issue. So there are there are so many things, you see. But well, we'll sit down with agencies like MRANTI, Cradle, and whatnot to come up with a better improvement. Well, we have done a lot. We have done quite a bit in the past, but we hope to improve whatever we have done, and whatever we are doing also. We hope to improve. So I think we still need to put in some effort to discuss how to improve the ecosystem.
There's two sets of opinions around opening up our talent market, right? One, as to whether we should be focused on local talents, grooming them and taking them to the next level, or allowing international talents to come into Malaysia and allow Malaysia to be their home as well. I personally think there should be a balance. But YB, to what extent should we push this? The opening up of our talent market. And how do you think it will affect our local talent?
I think we should strike a balance.
Yeah.
But we should be more open also, because in the tech world,
Yes.
it's rather borderless, in fact.
Correct.
So we should allow the influx of talents. I think we should welcome that.
Okay.
But at the same time, we should also train our own talent to be more competitive in the
Absolutely.
international market. So that's why the capacity building part is also very important for us, because some of our talent, they are very good. I mean, they are very innovative, but in terms of competing with international, or because we are quite amateur in that sense, right? So we need to have more capacity building. Of course, I myself think we should help our local innovators, but at the same time, we can't be too protectionist lah. We can't be too protectionist lah. So we need to open up, but at the same time, we need to help them to upskill our own talents, to upskill.
Is this something that you will champion?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
This is part of my precise.
Okay. Okay.
This is one of my focus areas.
Interesting. And I think along with that comes openness or willingness to also expand our funding or support to our local entrepreneurs, because that would get them to the level required for foreign entities to come in and take them on, right? And funding is a big, hot topic lah, YB, right? You go to anyone, the first thing they will tell you is tak cukup duit. But you did say earlier that funding is not the main thing, or
Not the only thing.
Not the only thing. Sorry about that. Yeah. So not the only thing, but it's also very important. Yeah. How do you see MOSTI playing a role in enabling this increase of funding?
Well, there are two fundings that we need. One is on R&D. The other one is on startups. In fact, we have been telling our colleagues. I've been telling our colleagues in the cabinet that we are not spending enough in STI, because our GERD, our government expenditure on R&D is on a downward trend.
Right.
So, but the good thing is Prime Minister acknowledged this. Prime Minister, he himself is very concerned about it, and he. We are fortunate because he is also the finance minister.
Yes.
So he has already made it a point. He said, I will increase government expenditure on R&D. So he said already instructed MOF to increase. That was his exact sentence.
Are we expecting a huge jump this year?
Well, I don't know. but
we surely hope so.
Yeah. Then, of course, on the other hand, we cannot rely entirely on the government, because we also, you see, resources is scarce. So we need to, we can't have very unrealistic expectation also. So the other initiative is Malaysia Science Endowment. So we also hope that we have a matching grant apart from the government, but the other half from the industry, from our international partner, etc., so that it could help to raise more fund for R&D. And then secondly is on a startup. Startup, of course, our fund is always small, but we hope to raise and match with other VCs or private sectors, so that we could link startup and industry up, so that we can have like at least a matching lah. The I don't know about the the ratio, but at least we can help to raise more fund for the startup, because we can't rely entirely on the government. As I say, resources is scarce, and then well, we won't have enough to spend, right? There's always not enough, so we need to think of other ways. And I think the good way is to link those VC or private equity or angel investors up with the startup to help them. I mean, I think we have not been doing enough in engaging all the partners. So I would love to explore in this area lah.
Fantastic. So, while we're speaking of talent, funding, ecosystem, would give rise to the question around the kind of industry you think at this point that requires disruption. Which industry do you think would benefit the most with the entry of science and tech right now?
Well, I think those traditional industry, like well, I have mentioned agriculture just now.
Yeah.
I think agriculture is one industry that with technology it will really disrupt the entire industry. So we need to put in more effort in this industry lah. I mean, just to help them to adopt technology. I really think that it would have a really big disruptive effect in the industry, not only on manpower but also on the yield and also on the quality of the products. So I think agriculture is the industry that, yeah.
Speaking of industries, technology, science, it's really a huge thing. It's all encompassing. It's nationwide in that sense, and I do not believe that it is just the role of MOSTI.
Yeah.
Right? It is to be done by multiple ministries. So, who do you think is your closest ally in terms of pushing technology in a big way for the country? We leave MOF aside because without MOF kita tak boleh jalan. But in terms of an enabling ministry, for that matter.
Yeah, in fact, there are quite a number.
Yeah.
Not only one or two, because for instance, when we say we need tech talent, so we need to start from young.
Okay.
So STEM education is very important. So we need to sit down with education minister, education ministry, and also higher education ministry, so that their syllabus can fulfill the need of the industry. So, but not only, but that is not enough, because that is only on the education part. But also in the industry part, investment part, we have to work with MITI. For example, we are expecting more EV manufacturers to invest in Malaysia. So we have this EV committee, joint committee, which is led by MITI, but of course MOSTI is part of it. So that is on the investment part. And in capacity building part, we have to work with human resource, Ministry of Human Resource, so that we can have training facilities, and also we can have more like training that can suit the industry more. So there are quite a number. And also in terms of hydrogen, we need to work with hydrogen economy. We need to work with NRECC, who is in charge of energy. And also we need to work with Ministry of Economy, because they are in charge of this energy transition plan. So those are the ministries that we need to work very closely with lah.
So you would agree that the science technology agenda is something of the whole of government approach, if you like.
Yeah, exactly.
So it has to be looked at collectively, holistically, and it needs to be ranked your top three, I suppose, right? And also, I think with the recent establishment of the National Science Council, we recently had the Prime Minister chairing the National Science Council as well. Do you foresee this to be a platform to push our issues, policies that is required to catalyze the ecosystem? Do you foresee the National Science Council being able to do that?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, because that is the main task of
Yeah.
National Science Council. In
Okay.
fact, so that is a platform that we can push our agenda, especially on science technology, lah.
Okay.
And being chaired by the Prime Minister, I think it gives a lot of weightage to that council, lah.
Maybe YB, we still have a bit more time. Maybe my next question would be, what is the one thing that you'd like to see MOSTI doing within the next 1 year, so to speak? The one thing that you have in mind right now that you want to see it done within the next 1 year.
Okay. Back to the people-centric approach. So I would love to see science and technology can help some underprivileged community.
Okay.
So in terms of poverty eradication, or in terms of helping them to get access to utility like power, like water, clean water, and also say internet. So that is the one thing that I would like to see in 1 year, lah. At least we can have a few projects. Pilot is okay. So at least we have few projects to help people with technology.
You've met many innovators, you've seen many startups, projects. Do you have a favorite? Do you have something that, a project that you've seen, or an entrepreneur that you've met that's stuck to you?
Well, yes, but I wouldn't say their name.
Yeah, sure. We don't go into the names,
yeah,
but the project in itself.
Yeah, the project itself. I am very impressed with a few projects that can help the underprivileged community. One of it is you can have clean water with very simple device.
Right.
So I think that really impressed me.
Right. Because the impact is huge, right?
Yeah,
Clean drinking water.
With a very simple device and cheap.
Sure. So YB, you are one that pays a lot of attention to the underprivileged society, and you want tech and innovation to help them. And is this something that you would be pushing as an agenda under, say, the national budget?
Yeah, definitely. Of course. I mean,
because the budget is within the next 2 or 3 months, right?
There are so many things I like to push in the national budget. But of course, this is one of the things that one of the main concern, and this is one of the main things that I would love to push, so that the coming 1 year we have enough budget to do these projects.
Wonderful. So maybe one last question. I think we've got about 5 minutes left. We keep talking about Global Innovation Index, and the stats that we have isn't all that updated. Year 2021, we were ranked 36 out of 132 countries, but it also shows that we have actually slipped 3 rungs. So of course, 2022, we've not gotten the final numbers. But what do you see MOSTI's role being in elevating our Global Innovation Index? One. Secondly, is it even important?
Well, I think it's important. I mean, I just answer the second question first. I think it's important for us to, to do well in this GII, this Global Innovation Index, because it's a standard, or it's a reference to what we have done or what we have been doing in the past 2 years, that whether it is useful to the science community. So I think that is a reference. Although, I mean, that is not everything, but it's important, it's an important reference. So I think it's very important for us to make sure we are at a good rank. So to answer the first question, I think there are a few factors that we can improve. First of all is government spending, the government expenditure in R&D. So that one can be done. Of course, with agreement with the Minister of Finance.
Sure.
Then secondly, private sector also need to play a role, because not only government expenditure they are looking at, but they are also looking at private sector contribution in R&D. So unfortunately in Malaysia, a lot of industry, they are not putting enough effort, or they are not putting enough resources in their R&D. So we need to increase that, because that is also where they are looking at not only government expenditure but also the private expenditure. We call it BERT. So that is also important, and then we need help from the industry. And also I think in terms of education, in terms of this science technology, science stream lah. That is where we need cooperation from the education ministry lah. So there are a lot of indicators that we need to work with other industries and also other ministries. So this is also where we want to work on. We want to put our effort in, because it's an important reference for us, at least for MOSTI lah. But at the same time, I think we also need to start creating our own index. You see, not only looking at global innovation index, but we also should also create a Malaysia innovation index, so that we also have our own data. We also have our own index to be seen as a reference by other countries.
One way to promote our local products, our local technologies. And I think you also touched on marketing, right? You touched about that our companies are probably not shouting out enough.
Yep.
Yeah. So maybe that's really one opportunity. So YB, this conversation has been extremely useful for me, and I'm sure our listeners find it extremely beneficial. And thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us. Before we end today, perhaps you could share some final words, and is there anything that you'd like to share, advice, call for action, anything at all?
Oh, thank you, Zalara. Thank you, MRANTI, for having me here. And in fact, if you say any last word, I would say be scientific, and then because science is the way forward. So science and technology and innovation is the way forward for the country, and also for the future generation. So just be more concerned about science, technology, and innovation. So thank you very much.
Do you see your children doing science in the future?
Yeah? I'm trying to help them to grow with science.
Nice.
So when I buy them presents, I would buy something more scientific instead of normal present.
Yeah, one way to get them in it.
Yeah.
Great. So thank you very much, YB Chang Lih Kang. We wish you all the best.
Thank you,
and we
Zalara.
are very excited to see your plans for MOSTI, and of course the plans for the tech and innovation ecosystem of Malaysia. So thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you.